Time keeps on leaving and we keep on moving. When do we pass on our wisdom to the youth? My veteran story, lost arts discussions, fireside chats with a bourbon or two. It's time to hear the stories by our military veterans. Get yourself ready. It's the Lost Arts Podcast. The Lost Arts with Andrew Cox. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Lost Art Podcast, that podcast giving a voice to our veterans. On today's episode, we're having another fireside chat with the crew. So I'm excited about it. It should be a good fireside chat. But if you're enjoying the podcast as much as we enjoy it, then make sure you go to the Lost Art website. That's the lostart.podbean.com. Click on that merchandise tab. Go buy you something cool like a hat, a shirt, maybe a cup, something like that. And help support what we got going on here, getting our veteran voices out for all to hear. All right, with that, I got my crew. We'll start with Mike. You're up there at the top. How are you doing, Mike?
I'm doing good. Better today than I was yesterday, and I'll be better tomorrow.
Oh, wow. Every day's a little bit better. I like it. I like where you're going with that. Aaron, how about you?
Doing good. Eventful weekend. I'll let him call himself out, but much like somebody here on this podcast, my daughter had a birthday on Friday as well. So,
all the cool people are born on 17 May.
Yeah.
Is that right?
She would say that. She would say that too. Yeah, she's a whopping 23. So,
Woo.
But yeah,
that was like 60 years ago for Mark, I think.
Yeah. And then granddaughter had a dance, little dance event on Saturday. Well, yesterday, and then so we did that in the morning. Well, ended up being like 2 hours long because it got a late start, but it was pretty long. Yeah. So did that, and then after that came home and finished watching some baseball. Arkansas finishing up their regular season. So they did win enough games to be able to host regionals and super regionals. So hopefully they fare well in that, and then go to Omaha for the College World Series. But other than that, everything's great.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for keeping us abreast of the Arkansas, what they got going on. I truly appreciate that. I'm going to skip Mark. I'm going to go to Krista. Krista, how you doing?
Good. I have a good weekend, but we're all sick here. We've all been very sick. So I don't know if it was the grandkids or the recruits or what, but we're sick. So, but we're hanging in there. So good thing this is virtual. That's all I can say.
Yeah, don't
and we had a
us.
hailstorm today in Beaufort, South Carolina. It lasted like 10 minutes, a big hailstorm. So it's kind of wicked. I filmed it. It was kind of fun, actually. So
pretty large size or what?
Maybe like nickel size. I mean, it was
Okay.
decent. Yeah. So it's entertaining.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And really, that's the picture you put up, Mike. Vic, how you doing?
That's awesome. I'm good.
That picture was supposed to be private between you and me, Mike. Come on. Jeez, can't take you anywhere.
Let's see. Today's cigar is a Southern Draw. Southern Draw cigars are they're a veteran-owned cigar company, Army and Navy, and they support a lot of like cigars for troops and that kind of stuff. So really good organization, and they make good cigars too. This one is a Bellicoso, so the Robusto, but with a pointed tip instead of a rounded tip. And then it's let's see, I think it's a Claro wrapper, Ecuadorian Claro wrapper, and Nicaraguan binder, and Dominican and something filler, like something like that. So, but it's a really good cigar. Also in the smooth and creamy variety. So it's one of my favorites. This particular one is the Desert Rose.
You really like your smooth and creamy cigars, don't you? I'm telling you.
Yes, I do. Thank you.
They look good on you. They look good on you.
Pointed with the creamy. Yeah, that's always okay.
Yeah. And with that, we're going to come to the man of the hour. And I've decided, I think the best thing that we could do at this point in time is probably sing happy birthday. So everyone turn your mics on there. We're going to sing. Mike, you're gonna lead us on this one because you got perfect pitch. So go for it.
Oh yeah. Well, happy
birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Oh my God.
Happy birthday, dear Mark.
Mark, Sergeant Major.
Happy
birthday to you.
I'm disappointed. We should just have done like Snake. Happy
Listeners are gonna-
birthday, salutations, happy birthday, congratulations. Remember that the game from the game, right, guys? Y'all know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
we
gonna
should have
agree
done
with
that.
you. Yeah, we should have.
Happy birthday, boss.
Well, thank you.
So,
Yep,
Mark,
right.
we're all on bated breath waiting for you to tell us your age. So
I'm the big
make it
6-0.
good.
I'm the big
6-0.
6-0. Yep, woke up on 1964, so the big 6-0. And I feel every year of it, but I'm still getting out there and doing things. So I woke up Friday morning, and then we went up to me and my wife and daughter and her two kids went up to First Marine Division morning colors ceremony. So we got to see some Marines, talk to some bands Marines there that knew all of you guys. And,
Oh, nice.
So some of them said hello, and then we went over to a retirement ceremony for Sergeant Travis DeBar. I don't know if anybody knew Travis DeBar or not, but he retired after 30 years. He retired. So went to that ceremony, then went up to Orange County, checked into a hotel, and waited for the next day for my son's graduation from Chapman University College. And he's a United States Marine also. Yeah, it was a good birthday weekend.
Wow.
Good birthday weekend. Yep.
That's awesome. And your son, he was what unit was he with when he was in?
He was 3-5, 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines.
Okay.
From 2014 until 2018.
Yeah. And got his degree.
Yep.
What's his degree in?
Business administration. And so he's going to start, he's planning on starting right into the master's degree program at USC.
Oh, dang, good for him. That's awesome. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
So I'll be so maybe someday I'll be able to move in with him.
There you go. Maybe we can all move in.
My old age. Yeah.
We all need a spot, you know.
Sorry, Mark, when Andrew asked you that, I thought you were going to say, well, back in 1775.
Nice. Oh, yeah. I like it. All right. So we had a couple of different topics we were looking at possibly talking about this week. The first, I didn't get my expert on. He wouldn't respond to me. So I'm hoping to get him on. Get him on another podcast. It's actually my brother Robert, who is absolutely hilarious, and so he was going to be my construction expert when it comes to the roads and the transportation and things like that. Just because, as you guys know, I've been traveling a little bit, and I've discovered that some of the roads between Virginia and Oklahoma are not great. So I thought for sure that my RV was going to shake apart at one point.
Wow.
Yeah, especially through Tennessee, hitting Nashville. Nashville was horrible, absolutely horrible. It was amazing how bad Nashville's roads were. But you get outside Nashville, it's not as bad. But then we got into Arkansas, and surprisingly enough, to Aaron's surprise here, it was not as bad as Tennessee's roads. So.
Okay.
They're doing something right.
They've been doing some construction on them because they used to be absolutely horrible.
I will say Little Rock, not so good though. Little Rock's is pretty bad.
They're always bad. But you also didn't. You went 40 all the way across, right?
I did, yeah.
Okay, yeah. You didn't hit I-30. If you would have hit I-30 going through Saline County, so basically after Little Rock, it would have been. It's not that the roads are bad; it's just traffic and it's just ridiculous.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's a section of highway there that, for whatever reason, everybody likes to have wrecks at, and it's right there in my hometown in Benton.
I'm glad they weren't doing that where I was at.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll put off transportation and where our tax dollars are going to another time, because Krista sent out a very interesting read and video about. Why don't you talk to us about what you sent out, Krista, and then we can all chat about it. She doesn't remember what she sent out. I can,
but do the guys want to talk about it first? Because I wanted y'all's input on it, because I have some thoughts on it, but I'm the only woman on it, and it addressed women as one part of it. But I wanted to hear the guys' input on it first.
Yeah, well, tell the listeners what you sent us and how you're setting us up here.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah.
There was a guy named I think his name is Harrison Butker. He's the kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs, and he did a commencement speech at Benedictine College, which is a small private Catholic college in Kansas. And it's his second commencement speech. He also did a commencement speech last year for Georgia Tech, where he went to college. And the commencement speech was about 20 minutes long, and it's been given some, he's getting a lot of kickback, a lot of feedback for it. He had some really strong opinions about a lot of things, and a lot of people are giving him some flack because of the content of it. He spoke about that his wife has embraced her, let me use the exact word, has leaned into her vocation, which is being a wife and mother. And of course, the country is just going crazy. A lot of people have started a petition at change.org for him to be released as the kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs and some other things. And also, he's a devout Catholic, a very strong, devout Catholic, following the Catholic religion to very faithfully. And I'm not Catholic, and I'm not a church going person anymore. I used to be a very strong church going person. I'm very religious in a personal sense, but very just Orthodox. He's an Orthodox Catholic, so very a strict Catholic. And so, but the whole country's just like going crazy and saying all this stuff. And I just, if y'all had a chance to view the commencement speech, I didn't know if you did or didn't. It's okay if you didn't, and I do have some take on it, being a woman and being a person who was in the military and quote unquote had a job or things like that. But so I just wondered what you guys thought about it, because especially, freedom of speech and some other things, and there were some different takes on it, because I just wonder what as gentlemen and what we discuss on here, what we thought.
Yeah, I will. I could start out. I don't know about gentlemen. I don't know if I would be categorized as that. I mean, we're all enlisted, so a gentleman isn't in the cards for us. But I would say you don't count. Yeah. Pretend like you're a gentleman over there. I know better.
He smokes cigars, so he is a fine gentleman.
Oh, he's something. So anyways, my take on it is I think back to my mom was a homemaker. She stayed at home. She took care of the kids. That's what she did. My dad went out of the house and he worked, and it worked for our family. I think it was different times, because you didn't need two incomes in order to just live a regular life. In my opinion, I think nowadays it does take more. My wife works. She does work from home. But she does work. So, and I don't have any problem with that whatsoever. But I think that there's certain individuals that works fantastic for, and there's others that it may not work so well for. But I always think back to what my dad was a minister, and before I got married, man complement each other. So he basically said a woman's point of view is they're going to think about things, they're going to really take everything into consideration, and they're going to look at the whole picture. And from a man's perspective, a man he's going to jump feet first, and he's going to make a decision. I'm going to run no matter what it is. But he said you have to complement each other. You have to talk to like if a decision comes up, I'm going to talk to my wife. I'm going to get her input on that. And then I'm going to make a decision. Now, once a decision is made, being the man of the household and the head of the household, then she's going to follow that, whatever that decision is, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether I follow her advice or whether I didn't, but she's going to follow me. And that's kind of how we've lived our life, our relationship, and it's worked really well. But I think there are certain roles, you go back to biblical times, you look at the Bible and stuff like that. And I think there are certain roles that certain people are supposed to do. And talking about what the individual said at the commencement. I don't think he's wrong in what he's saying. I do think times have changed. So I wish we could be more like that. But I don't think times are that way anymore. At least that's my opinion. So anybody else want to jump on the grenade and get stuff thrown at you?
Of course I do. So surprise, surprise, the tolerant left is attacking somebody over their views, whether it's religious, personal, what have you, right? Again, tolerant left, because it doesn't fit their narrative and they don't like it. The man made a speech at a private college, Catholic school, right? I'm not Catholic either. But from what I know growing up of the Catholic religion, Catholicism, majority of them live a strict Catholic life from when I was growing up. Now, since I've become a young adult and I've been out in the world and I've seen people, I've met a lot of people that are Catholic that don't live that strict Catholic life. However, majority of them that I do know do not believe in pro-choice. It's pro-life. Majority of them. I'm not saying all of them, but majority of them. So he was absolutely spot on when he said we now have a leader of this country that stands up there at 1 minute and says, "Oh, I'm Catholic," this, that, and the other, and then turns around and supports pro-choice and basically supports everything that is non-Catholic, non-Christianity, right? Again, however, his speech, he did say, basically stay in your lane, know your role, basically to that point. He was speaking. He was not sure. He knew it was going to be recorded and get out there, right? I mean, he said that he's not, he's faced some backlash over other things he said, and he understands that. He gets it. But at the same time, he's talking to a bunch of students at a Catholic school to tell them, hey, you're going to go out there and you experience things in the real world, but don't forget where you came from, with the religion. You're going to go out there, you're going to start a career. Yeah, he was talking to the women. They're going to start careers. And he said that, my wife, I mean, the man almost broke down on stage talking about his wife, and that's how much he loved her. He wasn't downplaying her. He wasn't, what are they calling it? Emasculating her, saying, she's doing what I tell her to do. And that's not, I mean, he actually got up there and praised, hey, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be where I'm at.
Yeah.
He met her in middle school. He's known her, he's 28, 29 years old now. So he's known her 15 years, give or take. So it's not like he has converted her. I mean, he said, yeah, she converted to the Catholic religion and then has kind of, submitted to what they believe that God, kind of wants them to live their life, and great on them.
Yeah.
If all these people that are living life in perversion or whatever, great on you too. Good. Stay in your lane. Don't start bashing somebody because he believes what you're doing is wrong and he says something about it. You say that we're wrong all the time. So what?
Yeah.
Agree to disagree and carry on,
Good point. Anybody else?
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, nope, just me and Aaron. Okay, that's cool.
Well, I
Hold on,
spent
I'll
a lot
step
of my
in.
time trying to read a 76-page transportation document.
Good prep
So,
work, and I appreciate that.
So I'll step
Although
in
I
on
did
this
get to
one.
be-
I was raised Catholic. I am a practicing Catholic. I didn't always live the perfect Catholic lifestyle, that's for sure. Trying to atone for that nowadays. But when I was raised in Midwest in Iowa, farming community. Um, I don't unless one of my friends' wives was a nurse. Uh, I don't remember anybody else's wives working unless they worked some small time a job in a store or something like that. But majority of when I grew up, wives were homemakers, and but it's just like in the military. It's different. You could relate a marriage to a military where you have the commanding officer and everyone else. There's different ranks, but there's not different value. And how I was, it was always thrown out to me when I was before I got married, and then even after I was married, I might have been the commanding officer, but my wife is the company gunny, and we all know
Yeah.
the company gunny sets the tone, uh, gets the schedule going, and everything, and follows. And just like as Andrew was saying about decisions that gets made, and then it gets carried out, because the mother is the most important job there is, because they spend so much time with the children. I spent a lot of time with my dad working on the farm, but my mother's influence is so important to my life and my lifestyle. And just as to what Aaron said, to echo on what the gentleman said at the commencement speech, this politician in the left, like I said, he claims he's a Catholic, but then he makes the sign of the cross at a pro-abortion rally. I mean, what kind of deviance is that? That's just straight demonic deviance. And then cackling Kamala Harris when she was debating Joe Biden, or running against Joe Biden for president when she wanted to be president. And I looked it up, a quote from April 3rd of 2019, when Biden, when all those four women come out and said that Joe Biden had sexually assaulted them. Kamala Harris, it's a quote from her. I believe them and I respect them being able to tell their story and having the courage to do it. That was April 3rd, 2019. Then, so where's the Me Too movement on that? And then as soon as he asks her to be the vice president, now her opinion changed of it. So once again, the left is a bunch of, demonic deviants, and they'll talk bad about conservatives and religion and everything like that, while they push to have transgenders do story time strip tease dances for kindergartners. It's like that one author and radio personality says, Michael Savage, liberalism is a mental disorder. That's what it just comes down to it. And as I said, that man had the right to say what his opinion was at that private college, and he wasn't worried about the backlash that he know he's gonna get. So
Yeah,
that's my take.
that's a great point. Yeah, good point.
Just
Anybody
remember,
else?
Mark, you guys voted for Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, exactly. And then, so where's like the feminists I saw, and I got some relatives, some nieces and nephews or nieces that are putting out stuff about him and what he has, how out of touch he is. But at the same time, where's the Me Too movement when this so-called religion has child brides? They mutilate the genitals of young girls because of their religion. Where's the Me Too movement on that?
Yeah, it's kind of what we talked about on the last one was what's good for one should be good for all, or what's not good for one should not be good for all, right? I think we kind of talked about that, hit it last time. Anything else, Vic? You got anything? Mike? No?
No, the only thing I have to add to it is, I grew up in a family. Both of my grandmothers were, homemakers, as they were called. I was not raised Catholic. I was raised up in a Protestant church. But, my mother worked her whole entire life. And I didn't take, my wife works. My wife busts her tail.
Mm-hmm.
And I would gladly say my wife not only works a job as a nurse, but she worked another job as a mother that, while we were deployed and holding everything together, and where I was not in the mental state to even be a father. And that's what she did. And if it wasn't for her, we as a family, and I think that goes back to regardless of whether the mothers work or don't work, that's the strength of women. And I didn't get to watch all of it. Andrew, I apologize. Krista, I tried to, and I was back and forth between it and trying to get some other things I had to get done today. But I personally didn't take offense to it, but I'm not the demographic and I'm not the gender that's supposed to take offense to it. Again, every single one of us serves for every single person, us included, to have their own opinion. Yeah. And I think that's the biggest thing that people don't realize is, I'm looking at, well, I'll say 6. I don't count myself in, but 5 other people that have a right to their opinion because they earned that right. But we all earned that right in the process of earning that right for our kids and everybody else. And that's what this country was built on. And the complete lack of tolerance now, and the complete lack of having the ability. And I blame, we can blame the Democrats, we can blame the liberal, whatever. But the absolute, and let me get back up. Don't tell me he didn't think that was not going to be recorded and posted. He didn't care. And I give him every ounce of respect. And that's when I was watching it, whether his platform as a professional athlete, some of that I disagree with. Not necessarily him, but just professional sports in general. Yeah, you have a platform. If you had the ability to do good, or the ability to stand up for people that don't have that ability, or, stand up for those that came from nothing, or to stand up against bullies and, things like that. And I'm all about it. But, sometimes it irks me when I hear, okay, well, that's what a lot of today's generation looks up to is professional sports, football players, basketball players, actors, and instantly it's like, well, that's what they're telling me to think. But like I said, I didn't take offense to what I had heard of it. Like I said, my mother, my wife worked nonstop. And I honestly don't know that I could be married to a woman that didn't work. Not because of me, but it just makes my life easier. That way I can retire early and, no.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
Baby, if you're listening to this, I love you.
Yeah. No, that's just a joke. Just don't tweet me on that. I don't need any comments. I don't need,
If I knew how to tweet, I'd tweet all about you.
What is it now? It's not even tweet now. It's you gonna X me? What? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna X you. I know how to X. I don't know how to tweet.
Well,
hey, real quick, Mike, you sent out a message to us all about your wife, and she's doing fantastic things. Getting I can't remember what the award was called. Mike, you can help me out with that. But
it's the Daisy Award.
Daisy Award. That's right. Yeah.
Can I comment on that? Do y'all mind?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
And it comes back around to this because I'm going to comment on this, and then we can move on if y'all like. and I was going to tell this last week, because I will tell y'all my birth story and make it very G-rated. I had 3 amazing Kellys, Kelly McEnany, save my life. When my daughter was born, 2 days early when I was still a Marine, because I had a footling breech emergency C-section. And I was still a Marine, and thanks to 3 amazing Kellys, at 9 o'clock, they when I made it to Woodbridge Memorial Hospital there in Quantico, Virginia, I was supposed to be born in Bethesda, but of course, at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm not making it to Bethesda in the DC traffic. But I made it to Woodbridge Memorial at 9 o'clock. They said, well, there's 5 toes on this foot, and that was at 9 o'clock. And at 9:21, I had emergency C-section. And so I had 3 amazing Kellys. And I'll tell you that the doctor, Dr. Carter, and I had a nice, and they were, my entire team was all women. I'm not kidding. Dr. Carter was a woman. The nurse that was holding me in the front, she had, I had my body wrapped around her. There was a nurse on each side of me and the anesthesiologist. She was Indian. She had a bindi right there, which is means strength and womanhood and marriage. She's like, don't move. If you feel tingling, you'll never walk again. And I'm like, oh my gosh, my contractions started at 2 minutes apart. Our phone didn't work that day at Quantico. Everything that could go wrong did. And those women, literally, I had a team of 6 women that saved my life and saved my daughter's life. And it was tragic. It was not tragic. It was just really rough that day. And of course, they took Ron out and got him all ready, And so I wanted to tell you, Mike, that without a team of Kellys, it could have been a bad situation, because she'd stuck her foot all the way through, coming out the wrong way. And the other leg was wrapped up around her neck. So it was
wow.
And that's going back to Mr. Bucker. He never said that he didn't think women should work. He just said that his wife leaned into her vocation, and all he said was that he thought that those girls that were graduating would love the most, that they would find the most joy in was being a wife and mother. And if you think about it, and the article I sent you, the woman named Nicole who wrote the op-ed for USA Today, I loved her response to all of it. She's a working mom. She's a writer for USA Today. And she said, and she has 4 children and lives in Texas. She's a beautiful redhead. That she said that out of being all the things she's done in this world, she has found the most joy of being a wife and mother, of being a mom. And most women, if you even ask us, and we used to write resumes and things and do, help women do interviews, and they say, when they ask you what have you found most satisfaction in a life, and please don't say being a mom in an interview, but women do that. And you know what he also said 3 times during that commencement speech? That he had found the most joy in his vocation was being a father and a husband. He said 3 times that. So that's all he meant by leaning into your vocation, was being a father and a husband and a wife and a mother. He never said that you shouldn't, and he didn't say you couldn't do both. He was just saying that you would find the most satisfaction about being a wife and mother. That's all he was saying. He never said you have to be a homemaker. He said that that's where she found the most satisfaction. And he choked up and he kind of got teared up. He said that his wife was a Kelly. That's all he was saying, that she found the most satisfaction doing that. And for people to kind of break it down, and the thing that bothers me, that all the responses across the country are that his words were divisive. There's nothing divisive about saying that you find the most joy about being a wife and mother. And I know I'm repeating it because he repeated it. That's it. That's not divisive at all.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Now I will say one thing. Victor, go ahead. Say it. No.
It is divisive when the left is hell-bent on destroying the nuclear family.
True.
That's why it's divisive.
But his
today.
statements were not divisive. Now, I will say one thing. If I was a young kid, I don't think it was a very good commencement speech. I didn't find it very positive and he did say that at the end. This wasn't full of the fluff that I was hoping for. I didn't find it very good as far as that. But you have to look at the setting. You have to look at what it was. It's a private, very strict Catholic school. I mean, come on. So they knew who they got for that speech. And he told that president he did not want to do it, but the president talked him into it. And that president knew what his speech was going to be. Someone proofread that, his wife or somebody did. They knew what they were getting. So you know what? Yeah, there was nothing divisive about it. All he said was, lean into your vocation, whatever vocation you choose. And do you know who his mother is? His mother has a PhD. She is a physicist down in Atlanta somewhere. She had worked down at Emory several times. He doesn't say don't get a degree, don't get a job. And his wife, she played sports in college. So that's what works for her now. And I think Aaron, you brought it up that maybe it's not practical in some ways because a lot of we all don't have a husband who's a place kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. We don't have that kind of money. We do need to income sometimes. So, but he's just saying choose what's best for you. And then you know what? Even if you are the CEO, even if you are Bill Gates, you might find the most joy in being a father or a mother. That's all he was saying. I don't think it was the best commitment speech ever because who's that Navy captain who gave that commitment speech for Texas A&M, Hook 'em Horns?
Oh, yeah.
I love that speech. I listen to it every day to get me motivated and get me out of bed and get me going. I freaking love that speech. It wasn't that, but so what? Freedom of speech, guys. First Amendment. Move on.
Yeah, I agree. And I got to say,
go Kelly.
Yes, go Kelly. But I look at 25 years in the Marine Corps, and I've done a lot of great things. I've had a lot of Marines under me. Mark, you can attest to this, Vic, you and Aaron, and Mike. But I got to say, like, being a father, that is to me one of the best things, and I absolutely love it. I'm lucky that my girls are young. I'm older. It's more like a grandpa and great grandkids or grandkids, excuse me. But it's
wait,
all
who's
good.
60? Who's 60?
You know what? There's a finger I have that I'm not going to show you right now. That hopefully you know what I'm talking about. But
you're number one, Aaron. You're number one.
Yeah, it's a thumbs up. I didn't notice. Oh, I lost it. It's all me. I went dead. Do you guys hear me now?
No, we got you. We got you.
Oh, okay. I don't remember what I was saying. Anyway, I love being a father. I'm having a blast with my kids, and I don't know. I think it's the greatest thing ever. I'd be the homemaker. Well, actually, I guess I kind of am the homemaker. It's all good. I'm loving it.
Homemaker or awning ripper offer?
You know what? Every single time.
He got it before I did. I was about to say it too.
I'm not telling you guys anything else. I'm not going to tell you about the lamp that we had for our lizard that was on the floor and almost burned a hole and burned down the RV today. I'm not even going to tell you about it because you're just going to bring it up on another
now
podcast.
you have to. Now you have
to. Because your wife posts pictures of everything. So we don't have to. You don't have to tell us.
You know what? I'm unfriended.
I was just going to say,
I'm joking about the lamp.
Is enough.
Yeah, I'm joking about the lamp. Yeah.
I'm going to have to send a friend request to Carlene.
Yes.
Yeah.
All of
you know
us.
what? I haven't been seeing. Maybe she unfriended me just so she could put all the stupid things down that I do. I'm pretty sure that might have happened. Oh my God. I can't take you guys anywhere. It's a good thing I don't actually take you anywhere. We only have to do this, twice a week. We should do it more than that, but whatever. All right.
Did we talk about Kelly enough? Did we talk about Mike's wife enough?
I was trying to boost him up, and so he'd have a great evening.
Yeah, I was going to say something, and it obviously it's not about Kelly, but it's about that profession. It's about the nurse profession, and I would say that the reason why Kelly's, meaning folks like Mike's wife, do such a great job is because they are excellent mothers to start with. So they want to help and make sure people are taken care of and nurtured and loved, and That way people can heal when they need it.
Yeah.
That's all I was going to
Yeah,
say.
that's very true.
Y'all thought
No,
y'all was going to get something, great as Harrison Butker there, huh?
Yeah, you didn't kick to the occasion. So I don't know what happened. I'll be honest, I never heard of the guy before, but yeah, I actually enjoyed the entire speech that he did. I thought it was good, but that's just
And he
me.
stuck to his guns. He didn't sugarcoat it. I mean, that's who he is. He believes what he believes. It was a little square, but you know what? He is who he is. I mean, when are we gonna? And I mean, we can go back to the whole Colin Kaepernick thing. And here's the thing: I didn't agree with anything Colin Kaepernick did, but he used his job as a platform to do what he wanted, and he did it with the whole country, with the whole NFL, national television. And guys, you know what? All 6 of us fought for the right for him to have the freedom to do that, and we all fought for the right for Mr. Butker to do what he does. That's what this country is built on, whether we agree with it or not. And you can't pick and choose. I'm sorry, cannot pick and choose.
Yeah.
I was going to say one more thing. Go ahead, Mark.
Go ahead,
I was just going to say one.
The left's not too worried about Pete Diddy and his little videos.
Oh, they turned on him. They turned on him quickly.
Yeah, they did.
So speaking of kneeling, I was watching, of course, Fox News clip where they were talking about it, and they brought up, where they're bashing him for faith, but yet when and I can't remember his name right now, but the receiver that went down on the field and basically died on the field, and they brought him back to life from the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And everybody around there on the field, majority of them, I shouldn't say everybody, but majority of them, they all knelt and prayed that he would get better. And we kept saying, pray. If you don't believe in faith, then don't do it. Don't, you know what I mean? But don't say you don't believe in faith and then turn around and say, and bash, Harrison for speaking on his faith,
Wow. That was good. Dang, Aaron. For Arkansas,
I didn't come
about.
up with it. I just watch this stuff and talk about it. I didn't bring it up. They brought it up.
Come on, take some credit, man.
But
it's the first I heard of it. So
but to the point,
me, it was from you.
Yeah, to the point, they were spot on. It's hypocritical, and we all see
pick and choose what you want when you want to do it. No.
Right.
That seems to be the narrative of everybody now, or at least when you look at the media, they're going to pick and choose everything that they want to talk about. I mean, heck, we're doing it. We pick and choose what we want to talk about. Screw everybody else. It's our podcast. I don't care what anybody else thinks. Okay,
you also
I do care what you think if you're listening.
Yeah, you're also not making the money that they are making at Fox News.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I mean?
Good point. Yeah,
and CNN and all the major news networks and the people that are stirring the pot on all this are raking in tons of freaking money to do this kind of stuff. And that's the problem. They're getting paid to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that begs the question. I mean, how you can always vote with your money. You can always vote with your money. Bring up the Colin Kaepernick thing. Okay, great. You want to do that? You want to use your platform and be in uniform, and you want to do these things? Fine. That's when my wife and I stopped watching NFL. And maybe it doesn't make any difference in the grand scheme of things that 2 people stopped watching NFL. But when was the last season that Colin Kaepernick played? So somebody noticed, and I bet you, Harrison Butker, he's not gonna lose his job because of his stance. He might, but I doubt it. But it's like, it's all it takes is if you disagree with something, everybody's got their voice, and yes, all of us fought for the right for the First Amendment and for the Second Amendment, and all the rest of them, and freedom of speech and all this kind of stuff, and no censorship. Fine, but that doesn't mean that I still have to pay for you while you're playing football. Your job is to put on that uniform and entertain, not to give me a political lesson. Your job is to go play football. But Harrison Butker, he wasn't in uniform when he gave his speech. Yeah. He wasn't there representing Kansas City Chiefs. So that's my take on it.
That's the difference. That's what I was saying. Yeah, he did it one-on-one at a personal thing in his off time at a personal college, right? And that's
I'm gonna flip the script on you though. You know, as Marines, we have all been out, you know, especially being in the band, right? You're out in the public eye, you're doing things. You can't, you know, you can't do stuff. Even if I'm in civilian attire and I'm not representing the Marine Corps, I'm still representing the Marine Corps. So to a certain extent, you know, I don't know, you got to weigh it every now and again, but I get where you're coming from.
And that's
the
what
first
bugs
thing
me.
you're going to say is,
Yeah.
Marine Master Gunnery Sergeant Andrew Cox. That'll be the
Yeah.
first thing. And it's always, you know, ex-Marine or former Marine, or doesn't matter what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's
Well,
the
I mean,
thing. You're right, Mike.
I should tell the commandant I'm
we're
sorry now.
forbidden by the UCMJ. We're forbidden to use our job as a platform. We're not even allowed to. That's like, yeah, they're allowed to. And that's, and I think, was it Aaron, you said that earlier? It's not that he shouldn't have done it or should have done it or said it, but it's his personal stuff. He, you know, he does it on his own time and he's in civilian attire or whatever. But it does bug me that, you know, that was my whole thing with Colin Kaepernick ever doing it. I didn't like it. But I kind of had to come around to it, the fact that, yeah, we are not allowed to. We're forbidden to do that. We're forbidden to use our job as any kind of platform. We have to, you know, that's when we defend a constitution that no longer defends us and we fall under those rules of the UCMJ kind of thing. Yeah, I don't like it.
So
Well,
Unless the Navy wants to use you as a transgender spokesperson for their commercials.
You know what? You know why I think he's going to be okay in all this? As far as his job goes, the wife of the Kansas City Chiefs owner spoke out saying that she supports his right to have an opinion on that. So hopefully, if the wife of the owner has enough sway, which she probably does,
And the
I
daughter.
know she does.
and even more, Whoopi Goldberg said that
Oh,
he
yeah.
has the right to have an opinion.
well, the smarter people will prevail, and some people will start coming around. What's his name? Bill Maher,
Mayor.
Mahar?
Bill Mayer.
Mayor,
Bill
or whatever
Maher.
his name is. Yeah, Mar.
Yeah.
He's starting to come around. He's not as far left. He's like they're taking it way too far now. You know,
Yeah, that's true.
and that's the problem. Is some of the folks that were, yeah, they were left leaning, but they were middle of the road, are now seeing what is being done on that side of the fence, and they're like, man, they're going way off in La La Land. You know, so
But I guess my question is, are we too late? Is it too late?
Nah, I don't think so.
You know, I mean, we got an election coming up very soon.
I would.
Is it too
I will
late?
say this. I will say this. There. If this administration, well, I don't think this administration is going to make it to the election. I think something's going to happen to where he's not able to run, and they're going to put somebody else in place. Look at the first debate on June 28th is like the earliest debate ever
Ever.
that they're going to have. So if
Because
if the ratings come out poorly out of that, they're probably going to find a replacement for him. But
I'm
I'll
afraid
say
they're gonna
this:
slip Hillary in there.
he could be, or Michelle.
And you know how early they say how early it is.
Yeah.
These two have not even been officially picked by the Republicans or the Democrats.
Yeah,
The
you're right.
conventions, the conventions aren't even until when? End of July or August?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So to that point, I think if we continue on the path, meaning that side gets elected, the left gets elected again, and we continue on this path, something drastic will have to happen. I'm not saying I'm not even doing anything. I'm not self-incriminating here. I'm just saying somebody with some power and some influence and some money will probably step up and yeah. But it will take
That or
that.
a world event.
I mean,
A world
look what
event will have to take place.
exactly. I mean, look what happened in the revolution. You know, they finally
Yeah.
said enough was enough, and that was over what
2% tax.
2% tax.
Which We're doing it increases every year by 2% or some kind of crap. doesn't
Yeah,
it?
something like that. Something like that.
You know,
I mean, at
I
least
wouldn't feel
interest
so
rates are.
bad. I wouldn't feel so bad paying taxes if I knew that my taxes were going to something worthwhile, like not shattering my RV as we drive through Nashville.
Infrastructure.
Come on, that is absolutely insane.
Is this a segue into next conversation?
Yeah, it kind of
Yeah,
is
okay,
because Vic
okay.
did his research, so we need to get him in here.
Yeah, absolutely.
But where in the world is my money going? Because it sure as heck isn't in Nashville, Tennessee. And by God, it should be, because I almost felt like rode off the road from bouncing in this RV.
It's going
it's
wherever
crazy.
Congress decides.
Well, thank God you didn't have an awning that would come off.
I know. You know what? In conclusion,
I'm willing to bet that awning is safe and sound still at Fort Story.
I bet
no, somebody's picked it up and done something with it. It's probably on somebody else's RV because they knew how to fix it and I didn't.
Yeah.
They're like, look at this thing, it's brand new.
I hate you all.
Hey,
man,
but
put
to
it above
to circle back around, hey, Vic, you're a nurse too.
Broke up a little bit, Mike.
I said, I'm sorry, Vic, you're a nurse also, right?
Yeah, she's a nurse also. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Your wife's a nurse also.
Yeah. So it's not just Kelly, it's Vic's wife and all of them. You know, that's what they do, you know. So I couldn't, I'll be honest with you. Especially not on delivery. I'd be like, you just suck it. You decided to have it. Get it out. Let's go. You know, I couldn't do it, you know. My wife would talk to me about being like a paramedic or EMT or something. I'm like, no, I couldn't do it.
So what's funny is my mom's a nurse, and majority of my life, either when I lived with my mother, she was single mom or had a live-in boyfriend at the time, did have a stepdad in high school. But so she basically raised us. Sure, my grandmother helped, but my grandmother worked too, much like many of y'all had, you know, a woman in the household that was working. But many of them were also homemakers. They weren't just working, they were homemakers as well. You know, regardless of what it is. I don't know if you remember this, Andrew, but at my retirement speech, I mentioned my aunt Karen. That is the hardest working woman. When I was a kid, they would get us boys together, me and my cousins, and we would have to carry the shingles up on a roof. And she'd be up there laying shingles on a roof. She did carpentry with her husband. She did it all.
Yeah.
And she's still doing it all. She's raising grandkids right now. So, you know, we don't think of it as a woman's place is in the kitchen. That's only for Kristen. Sorry.
All she wants to do is swim in the pool. That's where we're going at 8:00 now. I'm like, seriously?
Oh.
It's like,
but yeah, I mean, you know, like y'all, I you know, did my military career, and my wife stayed at home most of the time. She had odd and end jobs throughout my career. Here towards the end, she's worked a job working with I forget what they call it now, merchandising. So she's been doing merchandising for a few years now, and she enjoys doing it. And she knows that the extra income is always beneficial. But she'll tell you her pride and joy is right here at home with her kids, raising a family.
Yeah, good point. Well, Vic, did you want to talk about any more infrastructure? You want to wait till I get Robert on here to give his input on his backwoods Oklahoma input on the road system?
I mean, we can wait, but I mean, my one of the biggest things that I was concerned about was first of all, it's a $108 billion budget for the transportation department, which I guess in the grand scheme of things, probably not any bigger than, or probably smaller than some of the other departments. But what upset me is millions and millions of dollars is being budgeted towards DEI programs to include diversity and equity hiring practices in the FFA for air traffic controllers.
I mean,
I'm not even making that up.
surely that's important, though, right?
No, it's not. I don't care. I don't care.
And don't call me
I
Shirley.
want the best. Yeah. Yeah, don't call me Shirley. I don't care what color your skin is. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. I don't care if you're a dude that dresses like a girl. I want the best person for the job. That's what I want. I want the best person for the job, air traffic controlling. I want the best person for the job flying the aircraft. I want the best person for the job operating on me. I'm sick and tired of this DEI hiring practices. Where is the lunacy coming from? We have to hire you because of your skin color, not because of your qualifications. Are you kidding me?
Like someone told me, they'll accept DEI when it gets implemented in the NBA and the NFL.
Yeah.
When it works there, we'll buy into it.
When 40 to
Yeah.
60-year-old white men start playing professional football. I mean, some of them do. I mean, Tom Brady wouldn't leave the sport, but I get it.
What about the girls that identify as guys? What about the transgender girls that want to be guys? Are you going to let them play football?
Absolutely.
Let them try
do
out.
it.
Until one of them gets knocked out.
That's gonna hurt.
Yeah, they're going to get their hip broken. I mean,
Yeah.
female Marines are put into MRP monthly because of fractured hips just from doing the things that we require them in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
Which is not high impact tackles.
That's true.
You know what DEI stands for, don't you? Didn't earn it.
There you go. I like that one.
I like that.
Great one.
Didn't earn it.
Krista said it. None of us. We didn't. I didn't say it. I didn't. Well, I mean,
Start using that.
everybody remembers from 03 in Iraq, the Army unit that I don't remember her name now. That ended
Jessica
up in.
something.
Yep. And the United States went crazy about her. I mean, and it was an unfortunate incident, but that plays into women in the infantry units and stuff like that. I'm not saying I'm necessarily against it, but it's a good understand. Well, okay.
Sorry, Mike.
I don't disagree with that, but I'm just saying, okay.
To your point, Mike.
If one's good for one, one's good for all. But go ahead. Aaron.
Yeah. To your point, I see what you're saying. I have met female Marines that can hike, they can shoot, they can run faster. They, physically fit. They can do all the above better than some male Marines. I get it, and I understand that point. I forget who it was now. It was a sergeant major, and I can't remember his name, or I'd throw him under the bus too. But he came and talked to us, and he said, "Think about this for a minute." In Mark, you can attest to this. Some of the early days, in Mike and some of y'all that were out and went, into Iraq in 03, 04. You're out there for days, weeks, months without proper hygiene. Women can, and I'm not talking about the men who think they can become women. I'm talking about women have to be around sanitary products and places, or they get infections that can literally freaking kill them or cause cervical cancer and all that. I mean, no telling what the dude's got. We all know some of the Marines that probably came down with something, but it's very unsanitary. And what does that do? It can cause infections and all that. And then you take them out of the fight. So now and you may or may not get a replacement for that Marine. Again, I go back to kind of the whole transitioning thing. You're going to lose somebody. It becomes a readiness issue at that point. And that's kind of how it was spoke to me. But you also can't force feed females into the infantry and say, hey, this many females have to go, because you're not going to find that many. You might find, one every now and then that does CrossFit and friggin', probably takes a lot of supplements as well, but you know what I mean? But
yeah,
at the same time, that's one in a million,
Aaron, Janine and I were talking, I think Thursday or no, maybe Wednesday night or Friday night, and we added it up. There were approximately 1,000 females deployed to Desert Storm. There were approximately 30 female bandsmen deployed to Desert Storm. Where we were in Tent City in Al Jubail was pretty good. Then we went up. Tent City was in Sheikh down in Bahrain. Then we went up to Al Jubail in Saudi Arabia. At one point in time, I worked 12 to 12, which was nights, and it was pretty good. That was our shift. At one point where we were, I had to walk 5 miles to either get food, shower, or sleep, depending on where we were at the time. And I would choose food, shower, or sleep. Okay. And
Wow.
half the time, cold ass showers. The generator didn't work. I took Christmas Day. I was showered ice cold ass showers. And you know what? If I could go down to the CBs and get good food, I took food. I wouldn't shower. Just turn your underwear inside out and wear them again. Who gives a fuck? You know what? I want food. I want good food at the CBs. So it depends on what you volunteer for, what you wanted. You know what? You just choose. And some girls went through some stuff. Okay. And this was in the beginning when they first started deploying women. Okay, the first time around. So only 1,000 women Marines went. In Vietnam, there were only 32 women Marines that were deployed to Vietnam.
Wow.
Okay, only 32 women Marines deployed to Vietnam. Yeah, we talk about the show China Beach, and I was thinking there was a ton of women. That was Navy, that was Army. There were only 32 women Marines deployed to Vietnam.
I did not know that.
Yes. And Terry Dickerson was the first female Marine ever. She was the first female ever inducted into the VFW. So, we're just kind of looking back at some statistics. So that's what Jenny and I were doing the other night. So yeah, we would give up a lot of stuff just for depending on what we wanted. So yeah, there's a few women that are tough cookies that can hang with the men all the time, 24/7, but we're going to pay for it later, big time. So that's my 2 cents. And the women in Congress that are sitting there stomping their feet and saying, yeah, equal for all. Yeah, put a 90-pound pack on their back and make them wear that mop gear for 3 days when you get gas with some Soman gas or something and have to drink water through a tube for 3 days and see how they feel. See what happens. Can they really do that and wear that gear?
The bartender wouldn't be able to do it. She wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. They can't hang. The average woman in Congress has no clue what she's talking about. She needs to shut the F up and go away. She needs to go back to wherever she is. I'm done. Okay.
New York, right? New York?
Yes.
Something like that.
Where they absolutely hate her in her district.
Really?
No, they don't. Same thing with Pelosi. The people, well, there's bums on the street in Pelosi's district, but they don't like them. Which tells you that only the money there elected them.
Money. Yep.
yeah.
You guys are right. Y'all
did
said
not
that
elect
earlier.
them.
With her freezer full of her $80 ice cream that she talks about on her interviews. Yeah.
And thinking she don't have to wear a mask in a friggin' beauty salon.
And her nephew, Gavin Newsom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's always that. Yeah.
Oh, Gavin. It's
That I didn't
Gavin
know. I
Newsom.
actually didn't know that.
Yep.
Oh,
all in the family.
that's a surprise.
Something, that's for sure. Well, hey, we're gonna wrap this one up. Hey, thanks for joining me on this podcast. I much appreciate it. Sorry I had to step out for a couple minutes, had to take care of some stuff. But to all the listeners out there, be sure to, if you're struggling and need some help, you can always dial 988, press option 1. You can text 939-288, or you can go to veteranscrisisline.net. Click on that chat icon. Any of those are going to get you with somebody that can help you out. One veteran life loss is one too many. I care about you. The podcast crew cares about you, and all the veterans out there care about you as well. So please, please reach out for some help. To the crew, thanks for joining me. And to everybody out there, stay motivated, change your socks.